Okay, y'all. So our bleach blonde, bad built, butch body t-shirts coming soon. Is she really finna merch this out? Like, what? So I'm sure you guys heard of Representative Jasmine Crockett, the Democrat in the House committee from Texas, who filed a trademark application for the phrase bad built, no, bleach blonde, bad built, butch body that she said seemingly at Representative Majority Taylor Greene, the House representative from Georgia, after Marjorie said that her fake eyelashes was getting in the way of her discernment or some shit like that. So we're gonna talk about what's wrong with having a butch body, and in that same vein, summer bodies. And that's the theme for today. Summer flings, summer tings, summer bodies, all of the things. Welcome to episode 12 of the Out Here Trying to Survive podcast. If you're not aware, you can go ahead and watch this on my YouTube channel of the same name, if visuals are your thing. Thank you so much for being here. Today is June 13th. And like I said, it's summer, baby. So we're going to talk about all things summer right now. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Grace. I'm a mom, an activist, an author, a mental health advocate, and a multiple trauma survivor. And the reason why I wanted to start this platform was to help women survive through all manner of things while loving ourselves in the process. And the reason why I wanted to start the Out Here Trying to Survive platform was to help Black and brown women of color particularly survive life and abuse and find hope and freedom in self-love. This podcast is a hope-oriented storytelling space, a warm hug of solidarity from me to you, a celebration of our resilience thus far and our determination to not only survive but thrive. Welcome. If you want to figure out how to prepare yourself for summer in every way, keep listening. Particularly when it comes to body issues, that's a big issue. Summer bodies are everywhere. The idea of a summer body is everywhere. And sis, we're going to talk about it. I have in the past really dealt with this whole idea of looking and feeling my best. And I want us all to look and feel our best because you know what the truth is? And we all know this is true, but there is no summer body. There's just our one beautiful temple that we have. And however it looks is how it's going to look. So let's get into it. But first, a message from our sponsor. This episode is sponsored by Grace Actually, my book, Faith, Love, Loss, and Black Womanhood. It's available on Amazon, both in digital and print copy. These are memoirish musings on love, faith, loss, and Black womanhood. It's a collection and compilation of some of my best blog posts over the past 10 to 15 years now, and I look forward to writing more. So check it out. It's good. In part one today, we're going to be talking about summer bodies. Given Representative Jasmine Crockett's statement about Majority's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, the first thing I thought is, I love Petty. I love a good comeback. I love that she kind of put her back in her place. But at the same time, there's nothing wrong with having a quote unquote bad built or a butch body. And I just don't like that it perpetuates the othering of people's bodies. Because the truth is, especially as women of color, we know that there's already so much pressure on us to look a certain way, to have a certain kind of body that looks a lot like Kimmy K's. And anything that's different from that kind of mold is not seen as neutral. It's seen as bad. And that's really a problem. That's really, really a problem. If you struggle with body issues, I would really highly recommend a book to you called The Body Is Not an Apology. It's by Sonia Renee Taylor. It's one of the most beautiful books I've ever read, it's particularly on the issue of body image and self-image. It's just such a stunning book. I love her thoughts. I love her brain. Follow her on all the things. I will link them below. So this part is really called In Defense of Butch Bodies. In defense of bad built butch bodies. Again, I really don't care that Jasmine took her down. I think she deserved it, and I think she's an idiot. I literally heard Marjorie Taylor Greene the other day talking about how Trump was a felon and Jesus was a felon, and that's why she loves them both. And I just couldn't think of a more idiotic thing for her to say. I truly, truly don't like her. But that's really not the point. The point is that we don't have to hate on someone else's body and body type in order to be powerful, be strong, And arguably, I would say if you want to be a good human, you don't need to hate on another woman's body. I don't like the perpetuation of it as much as I loved the petty of it. So I hope that because she said that, because she's got it trademarked now, which is crazy. I don't know if she's going to put on t-shirts. I don't know what she's going to do with it. But I don't like that what the insinuation of that is actually dismissive of and hatred towards certain body types that is already a marginalized community. Women who are more built, women who have butch bodies or who try to have butch bodies are already a marginalized identity. We do not need to heap more shame and hatred and disgust onto them already because they're already feeling it from a lot of different directions in society. So I'm firmly against it. I think there's other ways she could have found to be petty, just as petty. Now, on the other side of the coin, we've got how we feel about our own body. And here's the thing, y'all. I know it's so easy to say, I got to unbig my back. I got to do this. I got to do that in order to be ready to have the summer body. But the thing is, every body is a summer body. Every single body that's alive and walking around is a summer body. You do not have to look a certain way. And I just want to help us remove that pressure. Your body is fine the way it is. Now, it's one thing if you're saying like, yeah, I have some extra belly fat. I'm trying to lose it because it's unhealthy for me. Or if you're saying, yeah, I've got high cholesterol. I'm trying to work on that. It's one thing to be healthy, but I'm talking about just in general, going to the beach and feeling good about what we have. Even if it's like, you know, I have my arms hang. I'm showing it here if you're watching on YouTube. That's a good amount. That's a good amount of hanging skin. I have definitely issues with my gut and my gut being pretty big and out there, although I hold it and I try to hide it pretty well. I've had a number of physical issues as well over the years, especially since I've gained a lot of weight in the last few years. But what I know is the media has us in a chokehold about what we should look like. And I just want to tell you, go to that beach, go swim in that pool, look exactly how you do and feel good about it, and don't let nobody shame you about anything. Belly hanging out, titties hanging out, stretch marks, belly fat, nothing. It's your body and it's beautiful. In addition to all of that, loving our own body really is good for our mental health. When we embrace and appreciate every single way our body looks, it actually lifts our self-esteem. So if we can say, yeah, my titties are sagging a little bit. I don't love my titties sagging like this, but I embrace them and I love my sagging ass titties. It gives us higher self-esteem. And that can help reduce all of these feelings that we have of inadequacy, that we're not okay, that someone else's body looks better. We don't want to be living like that. That shit has to get out of our head. When we practice self-acceptance of our body, no matter what it looks like, how it's built, what our titties is doing, what our arms is doing, our belly, whatever, etc., we can give a lot of energy to the parts of our body that are functioning on all cylinders, that are doing really, really well, and give a little bit more energy to what we love about our body and what makes us feel really good. And that will just multiply good feelings. Y'all, it only makes sense. So when you look at your body this summer as you get ready to go to the pool or the beach or wear your little booty shorts, all I'm asking is that you have a little bit more compassion for yourself, y'all. Just a little bit. A little bit goes a long way. I want to really challenge you to stop striving for something that's unrealistic, particularly in a short amount of time. You know, it's one thing if you're saying, okay, I got to unbig my back. I want to lose 45 pounds and I'm going to lose that by September, October, November. But it's another thing if you're like, oh, I want to lose 45 pounds by, you know, July 4th so I can go party with the new dude and we can have a good old time and I'll be 30 pounds less. Like, that's not exactly realistic nor healthy. You know, if we think about it, the less and less and less that we're striving for something that's unrealistic and probably won't even like make us happy in the end, the more we can focus on things that are like nourishing for us, figuring out which food actually nourishes our body and things like that. It would just kill me to know that we are all out here still trying to fit into societal expectations of what our body is. We have to put that to death. Not only that, wouldn't it be so boring if everybody's body did look the same? Don't you kind of find it boring when you see the same like IG model kind of over and over again? They've got a booty job, they're super thin, they got big titties, you know, just like the one same body shape that everybody seems to have nowadays. I find it a little boring. Do y'all? Because when I see different shapes and sizes and styles and colors and everything in the vast expanse of the human experience, I find so much joy in that diversity, the diversity of body shape, size, and color and style and all of it. Because when we embrace like what makes our body unique and what makes us beautiful, it also helps us to like push back against that narrow beauty standard that the world has given us about what a woman should look like. And it will also inspire others to do their own work and to really embrace their self the way they are. And that can have a really widespread positive impact. So I try to, and you will never hear me say anything bad about myself, about my body. I try not to, really hard. If you catch me, feel free to challenge me on it. Feel free to call me out. I would mean that 1000%, because I try really hard not to say bad things about my body, think bad things about my body, say bad things to myself, about myself, especially about my body. I have a daughter who's just about to be 8 next month, and it's really important to me that she grows up knowing, like, my mom loved her body. She didn't spend a lot of time wallowing about the things she didn't like. She celebrated it. She tried to eat healthy. She tried to keep it moving so that I'm doing what it do, because I'm in perimenopause, so I need to keep it moving and keep strength training and all that for so many different reasons to be healthy. But I want her to see that, like, you know, I put on my bathing suit and we go to the pool, because we do have an indoor pool here at our apartment complex, and we go quite a lot. And I don't ever want her to be like, oh my God, my thighs, oh my belly, oh this, oh, you know, like, I don't do that at all. I just be like, okay, girl, we cute, we cute, we cute. You know, I don't be like, oh, look at me, I'm so beautiful in my bathing suit. But I try to just kind of give her an aura of like, we're carefree. We're carefree Black girls out here. We're just carefree, enjoying our body, enjoying our lives, living our best life out here in these Kalamazoo streets. Okay, let's move on to part 2, summer flings. Girl, guess who got a summer fling? Your girl too. I wouldn't even say it's a summer fling. It's just someone I'm dating, just happened to start dating at the beginning of summer, which, as you know, is like the best. Like, having someone I'm talking to at the beginning of the summer who I really like and who I think really likes me, at least in the beginning. We've only been on a couple dates, but oh man, it's just like, I love it here. I love it here so much. So I've been talking on my Instagram stories about summer flings and summer dating, and I kind of want to bring it here. Okay, y'all, so let's talk about it. I went ham on my Instagram stories about the importance of having a roster, about having a group of men that you're dating or pulling from before you settle in on one person. And then at the same time, I told my Instagram followers, which you can follow me on Instagram, by the way. I give all the juicy deets on my personal life and dating and updates and things like that at grace_sandra_. So meet me there. But anyway, child. So I'm talking about how, you know, it's so good to have a roster, but that I feel a little bit too tired to have a roster, and I kind of don't want to, and I really just want to date this one person. I don't really want to think about anyone else right now. And then consequently, me and him also decided we were going to, even though we're not in a relationship, we are going to be emotionally and sexually exclusive with one another. And that felt like a really good, comfortable decision. But I still want to talk about why it's important for women to have a roster, because I've done it before. And just because I'm not doing it now doesn't mean that it's not a good decision. I think it goes both ways. I'm curious to know if you guys are dating, if you're enjoying summer flings, if you're dating 1, 2, 3, 4, how many do you tend to date at once? And I'm not talking about hookup culture. I'm not talking about how many people you are sleeping with or juggling sleeping with. I'm talking about people who you're considering as some sort of viable, you know, long-term option if that's what you're pursuing. How many at once do you tend to date? Because for me, it's very difficult. If I'm looking at someone as a potential long-term viable partner, it's really hard for me to juggle more than 2. And what I was saying in my stories was that, you know, I'm a mom and I do have co-parenting schedules. So I do have like a 50-50-ish arrangement with my baby's fathers. However, that still doesn't leave me very long to really give a good amount of time to a dating partner. So as an older woman, I'm, 47. I have children from between 8 and 18. Okay. So I have responsibilities that are a little bit weird for a woman my age. A lot of women my age, their kids are older. And as I've dated, I've realized that keeping a roster is really, really hard, because I'm dealing with men who are a little bit older. A lot of them have kids of their own. It's really hard to juggle that. It's really hard to see each other. It's hard to even schedule phone calls sometimes. It's hard to schedule a FaceTime sometime, let alone actually getting together, let alone having like a whole couple days or a weekend to spend with someone, because we all out here trying to just handle our business and got full-time jobs and kids and laundry to do and dinner to make. So it's challenging. Let me know if you resonate. Please drop it in the comments below. However, that does not change the fact that I really truly believe that one of the most important things about dating and finding yourself, especially for us older women, is realizing that we have autonomy and a lot of choice. I mean, y'all, it's not the 1920s anymore, so we have a lot more options. We can, as y'all know, we have our own money, we have our own places, we have our own cars, we have our own bank accounts. Some of our grandmas weren't even allowed to have that by law. By law, y'all. I mean, it was crazy out here for women. I mean, it's still crazy out here for women. Let's be honest. But you know what I'm saying. But I do think that when we open ourselves up to dating more than one person at a time, or having a roster for lack of a better phrase, we are giving ourselves the opportunity to have more experiences that can lead to a better understanding of who we are, what our own needs are, what our own desires are. And I've told y'all before, I was married for 20 years of my adult life. I got married really hella young, right? I was married by the time I was 22. And then I was with my first husband for 15 years, broke up, got with my second husband. I was with him for 5. But if you include dating in that, the dating and the divorce process when not a lot was happening, it's more than 20 years. So really for me, dating has really been just these last 3 years of my life. And I'm 47. Okay, so a lot of time of my life, I've not been single. This is really the first time that I've been single, like single in my adult life. It's literally in the past 3 years. So I'm learning so much about my needs, my desires, what kind of experiences I like to have, what I really like to do and not do on a date, what I like and enjoy sexually, physically, what I just really don't like or don't want to do, what I'm not interested in. All this stuff that a lot of people learn in their 20s or early 30s before they ever get married, I completely bypassed. Like, y'all, I moved from my mama's house, sleeping next to my mom in a bed, literally, to being married. I never had lived anywhere else. I went straight from sleeping in my mom's bed, and that's a whole long other story. Why I was a 21-year-old woman living at home, sleeping in the bed next to my mom. It's a long story, but my mom had bipolar schizophrenia. She had paranoid schizophrenia, and she actually threw out my bed a couple different times. So I had no choice but to either sleep in her bed next to her or sleep on a couch. And I knew I was moving out anyway, so I just slept in the bed next to her so I could get some sleep because I was still in college. Okay, so it was a little crazy, but I went from that to sleeping in the bed with my husband. And let me tell you, I bypassed a lot of years of just learning how to be an adult. So I'm learning that now, particularly when it comes to dating. But I think that when we're dating different people simultaneously, which I have done in the past sometimes, I do think it affords us the opportunity to see the contrast in one at the same time. Like, there has been some overlapping sometimes where I'm like, oh, yeah, I can see that that's like really a strength of his, and this is not a strength of his. And I can see that I really value this over here with him, and I really don't value that at all. It's just been really, really helpful for me to figure out what I do want in a partner when I am ready to take the plunge to have a long-term partner once again. Another big reason why we should be dating multiple people at once, at least a couple, y'all. That's what I'm going to say, at least a couple, at least 2, because I can't do no more than 2. But some people say 4. I'm like, oh, I ain't got the bandwidth emotionally for that. But another thing is, for those of you, where my anxious attachments at? Me, I'm an anxious attachment. If you have an anxious attachment style, y'all, dating more than one person at once will really, really, really help you not to become too invested too quickly. It allows for a definitely more balanced, more objective approach to the dating situation in front of you. And I have been guilty, y'all, of getting too roped in too quickly, going too fast. One thing my therapist has always told me, God bless his heart for this, but every time, I be talking to him and tell him, yeah, I met this person. And he always say, slow down, Grace, slow down, slow it all the way down. And he was never one to tell me, date more than one man at a time for this reason. But he did always tell me to slow it down. You moving too fast, pump the brakes, pump the brakes, pump the brakes. And I admit that is my weakness. I'm just okay, you like me, I like you. Okay, let's do this. What are we waiting for, boo? What are we waiting for? That's how I see it. I know that's not always a good thing. I'm just telling y'all, this has been for me, okay? Another huge benefit of dating more than one person at a time is that it gives you a sense of agency in your dating relationships. If you're someone like me, if you're a trauma survivor, you've been through shit, you're a woman of color, okay? You have been through stuff that has taken away and stripped your energy, your agency, and your power. And dating more than one man at a time can really give you that sense of power back. Like, I'm in charge here. I decide. It's not a fake sense of power either. And I'm not saying abuse power, but I'm saying it can give us a sense of power that you have control over your dating life and you have control over what's happening. You're not just letting it happen to us. And this whole idea of being chosen, I think sometimes fucks with our head about what it means to have a sense of agency and autonomy as we approach these dating situations. Because at the end of the day, we have to learn to prioritize ourselves and our happiness. That's what these men are out here doing. These men are out here doing that. Okay. These men are out here prioritizing themselves fully without nobody having to tell them to. Nobody has to tell a man, make sure you prioritize yourself. Make sure you're putting your happiness first. Make sure that she's treating you the way that you deserve to be treated. They just it just comes innately in them, it seems. It's easier for them to cut us off. And at the same time, society has been pushing them and poking them and prodding them that they are the prize and they are everything and they're the most important. And so when it comes to women, I believe that men are like, yeah, if you're not up to my standard, be gone. And I think for women, we're like, well, if you're not up to my standard, maybe I could help you get up to my standard. Maybe I could teach you. Maybe I could, lead you across the path. Maybe I could help you to love me in the way that I want to be loved. And I'm like, no, y'all, we got to stop doing that. Number one. And number two, in this area, we could stand to be a little bit more like men. All I'm saying is, y'all, do not cut yourself off from the enriching experiences that can be had from dating multiple men at once. Not to mention that it can expand your social circles. You go out on double dates, you meet other people. There's just lots of good reasons. And also, you kind of don't want to box yourself into one situation and then it doesn't last, or if it doesn't work out and suddenly you feel like you've wasted a lot of time. I'm really all for women doing things that make us feel very liberated. So I think we should do what makes us feel the most liberated. And I really want to lean into women really, really getting what we feel like we deserve. And sometimes overlapping and having that roster can make us feel like we are pushing and pursuing what we deserve. If that's the case, then do it. If that's not the case, don't do it. It really is a personal decision. But I think there are some good reasons to do it. And as for me, one of the reasons right now why I'm choosing not to date more than one person at a time is because I feel like it's liberating me to actually spend some time on something that feels like a more special connection. So I've had other connections before where it felt really good. It was really fun, felt like it was going well, but it gave me a sense of don't put all your eggs in this basket. Now, I don't think I should ever put all my eggs in one basket at any time soon. Let me just be clear. But this situation is giving give this a little focus, give this a little bit more time. You have limited time already. I'm also a student. I'm in school and I'm working and I have my 3 kids and I'm trying to deal with perimenopause and do this and do other things in life. So I don't have a lot of time. And I feel like right now it feels best to me to say, let me just put some more eggs, not all the eggs, but let me put some more eggs in this basket. And we'll see. And I also feel like I've already kind of predetermined in my mind, let's say this doesn't work out. And even let's just say it ends badly. I still feel like I would have no regrets for the way I've went about this because I don't have a backup or whatever, because I don't need that. So this is where I'm at. And I don't think this is where everyone should be, like I said, or even where I have been in the past. But it's good for me right now. And I'm all about us doing what's good for us. Pursue your bliss, boo. Pursue your bliss. And I'm really trying to do that. Part 3, we're going to talk about loving the shit out of yourself this summer. How do you just love the shit out of yourself in the summertime? I mean, y'all, for me, one of the things that I do to love the shit out of myself is just take myself out into nature and into the water. I realize that's not everybody's cup of tea, but that is definitely one of mine. I love being in water. It makes me feel so comforted. I heard somebody said, one of my friend, I think Ani told me this. a long time ago, she told me that sometimes trauma survivors like really love being in water and really love bathtubs for some reason, especially if you were a trauma survivor as a kid, that it just makes you feel comforted and warm inside. And I was like, yes, that's me. Like I almost only take baths exclusively. And I love swimming pools. I love being in lakes. I love being in the ocean. I mean, not like deep diving, just like wading in the ocean. Okay. I don't go out into the middle and just jump off boats and shit. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I love the water. How do you love the shit out of yourself in the summer? How do you find internal motivation? What are the things that you do to love the shit out of yourself? What are some of your little habits that you do to keep track of this? When it gets hard, what do you do? How do you keep yourself on track? How do you move forward? Let's talk about it. Something that I've done this week, I've done 3 times this week at length, is I write myself letters. I've heard that when you take some time to write out what you're thinking and feeling, it's a mindfulness practice. It greatly benefits your mental health. I actually don't have my journal with you, but I use the Silk and Sandra journal. I am an affiliate for Silk and Sandra. I will link it below, but it is one of the best mindfulness journal / planners out there for women. It's just beautiful. It's so helpful. And it's what I use to write myself letters. There were a few different times this week where I just felt like I needed love so bad. I just felt like I need to feel loved right now. I need to feel wanted. I need to feel like I'm valued. I need to feel seen. And I knew right away, like, you cannot look to other people to feel this, Grace. Like, this is not the time to look outside yourself. I just had a sense like you cannot go to the man you're dating right now and be like, I need to feel all these things. Please make me feel this way. You know, I don't think that's ever really appropriate in general, but especially not when you're first dating someone. I mean, like literally we're in the first 2 weeks. Okay, y'all. So that's not a thing, nor something I would ever do or recommend doing. But even with my best girlies, even with my children, like I don't want to come to anyone in my life who I love with this desperate, like, please make me feel loved. So I knew this is an inside job. So yeah, what I did was I took on 3 different days, I think Monday, Tuesday, and then last night, I took the time to write out a long letter to myself in my Silk and Sandra journal. You know, I wrote, I love you so much, Grace. I love your heart. I love good, kind-hearted person you are. I'm so sorry that you're feeling this way and this way. I wish I could take this all away from you. I almost just said it as if it were someone who I love writing me a really nice, loving, compassionate letter. I mean, I went into depth because on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I was really just feeling the sense of like, I need this in a real specific, fundamental way. And I've told y'all before, I tell myself I love myself every day. That's one of my practices that I write in my journal, but usually it just ends there. I love you, Grace. Have a great day. Okay, but this was really thorough. Like I actually took the whole length of the page to write out this love letter to myself. And I do feel better after I do it. And I also just have a sense of like, okay, I'm loved, I'm wanted, I'm secure. It helps regulate me. Y'all know what it's like to have a dysregulated nervous system. Y'all know what it's like to have those anxiety attacks, to have those anxious attachment episodes, to have those times where depression is just kind of pushing in on you and the lies that you're hearing, you know, about your worth and all of that stuff. Like, address it. We all know that the only way to get to the other side of some of these hard things is not just to pop a pill, because I thought about popping an anti-anxiety med last night, but I was like, you know what, it's going to make me feel calm and it's going to put me to sleep, but it won't actually address the fact that I think what I just feel is undervalued in life. And I don't feel like this person, there's a couple different people in my life, are valuing me enough. And so it's making me feel not valued as a human. And I need to feel valued as a human. So make myself feel valued as a human. Do the hard thing of writing it out. And don't take the pill. And then just go to bed. So I did that. Another thing you can do to love the shit out of yourself this summer, besides embracing your body, we already just decided that, besides dating around, you know, getting out here in these streets, as we can also stop centering others in our lives, just in general. If you find yourself thinking about other people, whether that's on IG, whether there's people or other women that you're jealous of, or you're fixated on your ex's new boo thing, or whatever, you know, there's so many different circumstances I could name, but we've all been there. If someone is living in your head rent free, you are centering them. And I'm saying this from about as guilty as a place as ever. I mean, y'all, I've been there so many times. I mean, I was literally there yesterday. I was literally there yesterday where I had to intentionally say, like, I literally cannot think about this situation anymore. It's taking up way too much energy, way too much time, way too much emotional bandwidth. And on top of all that, it's not pouring back into me. It's not giving me positive. It's almost exclusively giving me negative. So loving the shit out of myself last night looked like blocking that person. Like, I just have to block them because boo, this is not it's not it. It's just not it. In another way, I think loving the shit out of ourselves is taking our power back. And taking our power back in a situation is about not centering them, but centering yourself. Another way that I think you can love the shit out of yourself is by loving all of us no matter what. You know, when I talk about unbigging our back and, dating around and getting to know what we like, when I talk about all of these things about loving ourselves, it really is about accepting ourselves no matter where we're at. If we're a little bit bigger or unhealthier than we want to be, if we're a little bit smaller or malnourished, and I mean that emotionally, sexually, physically, and in every way than where we want to be, if we're a little bit jealous of other people because they're where we want to be financially, if we are just a little bit less than where we want to be, it doesn't mean that we are less. It just means that we're not where we want to be, but we have to accept where we are currently. That is one way to love the shit out of yourself in the summer. Don't waste this time. Summer is about refreshing, renewal, things growing, things being vibrant. And there's nothing vibrant about being in a state of judgment towards ourselves. There's nothing vibrant about looking at ourselves and not loving and appreciating what we see. You know what I'm saying? So give yourself grace, y'all. Please, please, please give yourself grace. And that's with love from Grace. And finally, part 4, what does summer mean to you? I want to encourage you to take some time to reflect on what summer means to you. It's June 13th. I already feel like, dang, it's going by so fast. I also live in Michigan, so, we get a little bit of warmth in September, but by October it's cold again. So summer goes by hella quick here. And I want to just encourage us to continue to pursue ourselves, to honor and love ourselves and value our own happiness over summer societal expectations. Do y'all feel kind of like that pressure, like to have the perfect summer clothes and the perfect summer bathing suit and the perfect summer vacation? And I don't know, it can be a lot. So I want you to take some time to just reflect on, what does summer mean to you? What do you value this summer for your life? What do you need this summer? And don't be afraid to set boundaries around it. If they don't align with your value or your goals, cut it off. For me, like I said, summertime is a lot about relaxing. For me, I really, really value spending more time with my kids during the summer. I just love going out with them. I love going to the beach with them. We only live like 45 minutes from Lake Michigan, which, if you're looking on YouTube, if this is Michigan, we're surrounded by the Great Lakes, and Lake Michigan is over here and we live over here in this section on the, what is that? The south, no, not me not knowing. I live in Southwest Michigan, the south side, the lower half, and Lake Michigan has beautiful, thousands of miles of beautiful shoreline. I love taking my kids there. We try to get out as many times as we can in the summertime. It's a huge value of mine. I really do value rest and relaxation in the summer. I think more than probably I should. I think sometimes the societal pressure is like, it's warm and we've got energy, so let's get out there. And yeah, I do believe in going to meet after your goals or whatever. But I also really do value, this is a leisurely time. This is a time to sit back and soak up the sun a little bit. And for me, like I said, it's always been a time for my kids and I to connect. Now, I'm also in an interesting place because I am 1/3 of an empty nester starting this fall. I have my 18-year-old son is headed off to college, staying on campus. And so this is my last summer with my child living at home because, he could come back next summer, but we don't know. He could stay every summer till he's 24, but we don't know what he gonna do. Who knows? And besides that, his dad and I are divorced, so he could go stay with his dad who lives just up the street. But you never know. All I know right now is that this could be his last summer. He's 18 years old. And so for me, I'm thinking about how can I make the most memories of this time, this summer, and just really value what I have left with him. So what does your summer look like? feral girl summer, crafty girl summer. You got some crafts you're going to dig into. Overheated and overworked summer. Sad girl summer. Hot girl summer. Happy girl summer. 4B girl summer. Healing girl summer. Parent girl summer. City girl summer. Farm girl summer. Study girl summer. It's a lot on that list that I kind of want to be and do. All I'm saying is make some plans and make sure you make the best of your life, because you never know when it's the last. Don't forget to subscribe. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please leave me a review. Your reviews greatly help me push this podcast out into the world. Follow me on all the socials. I'm out here trying to survive on YouTube and on TikTok. On Instagram, grace_sandra_, and same on Twitter. X. My link is in the show notes for my newsletter. Please subscribe so you can be up to date on all the latest happenings. And if you're here on YouTube, please leave me a like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. And just to wrap it up, if you're listening to this, I love you. I hope you know you are loved and seen and wanted, and I hope you tell yourself that as well. I wish you nothing but the best of this summer. Have a great one. Bye.